Hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to Radio Dabang Mornings with Shazia Khan. And right now, I have Mr. Rick Garcia with me in the studio. Mr. Rick Garcia is running for Fort Bend ISD Trustee Position 3. So let me welcome him on the show. Good morning.
Hello. Thank you for having me. How are you doing?
Yes, sir. I am doing very well. I want to know, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. We're working hard. This is the first week of early voting, so there's a lot of movement, a lot of excitement. We're trying to get people out to vote, trying to get people in my neighborhood out to vote. So it's a whole new experience for me. I'm enjoying every minute of it and just loving life right now.
Absolutely. Let me tell you all, if you are joining us right now, about Mr. Rick Garcia. Rick Garcia had led a life devoted to family and community. Rick is a native Texan and a Richmond resident. His service began at a very, very early age, where Rick began serving his community and his church in elementary school, where he attended Nazareth Academy in Victoria, Texas, and he continued serving by volunteering as a youth minister throughout the high school and in college, and has volunteered as a mentor to Fort Bend ISD students. We all know that mentors are so important, and if you have a very disciplined and motivated and person who believes in, you know what, you need to do it, you need to get it done, you need to go for it, then what else our students need, right? Goals early in life drove him to be a teacher. Yes, we all need teachers. We all want good teachers. He has a degree in kinesiology and a minor in political science from UT Austin, and he and his wife graduated in May of 1998, when they immediately moved to Fort Bend and began working as teachers for Fort Bend ISD. Teachers. Amazing. I was reading your portfolio, I was reading your resume, and I believe this stood out to me the most. How would you know ISD if you are not a part of that ISD? And I believe you became a teacher first for Fort Bend ISD, and from there, your interest grew. So tell me about that journey.
Yeah, so I met my wife in college, Stephen F. Austin, and we graduated in May of 98, and I was going into the teaching profession. I wanted to be a coach. I wanted to teach political science or history, and my wife and I, we got a job at Fort Bend ISD, my first job out of college, teaching for Garcia Middle School, no relation, just so very coincidental. And I didn't end up coaching that first year, but I was a 7th grade Texas history teacher, and I loved that subject. That was such an amazing time, a lot of fun teaching. My wife is a reading and English teacher. Now she's a 6th grade ELA. She still works for Fort Bend ISD,
wow.
And I have 2 boys that attend Fort Bend ISD schools. So a lot of ties to the district, love the district, been around volunteering and been very active for over a decade, at least when my oldest was in kindergarten.
Right. And past and present involvement that I'm reading here. By the way, you guys can also go and check out voterickgarcia.com. That's
right.
your website.
That's right.
And I'm getting all this amazing, pretty decorated, well decorated.
That's right. So we've been in Fieldstone going on 12 years, which is the neighborhood that I live in. I've lived in Fort Bend County for 25 years since we graduated from college. And in my neighborhood, it all sort of started with a major sort of break-in in our neighborhood. And a lot of folks were concerned that crime was on the rise.
Yes.
And then I suggested to start a neighborhood watch on our Facebook page. I had only about 100 people at the time. And I was like, Rick, that's a great idea. And then everybody's looking around and it's like, who's going to do it? Well, so you do it. So that
You brought it up.
it ended up becoming one of those things that I sort of took some initiative very early on and started the Neighborhood Watch, and then eventually I was on the HOA, and I'm on the Mud Board. And when my oldest was in kindergarten, I'd always been just very active and engaged. We walked them, all of them, and day one of the school, walk them in, and they get you signed up for PTOs. I'll do it, sure. And then I get you signed up for dad's club.
You were that kind of a parent,
was
volunteering,
very
involved.
Room parent. So that was probably the first thing that I ever did, was a room parent. And I always tell people is, if you want to really understand how the universe works, you need to go volunteer during lunch to be a lunch monitor during kindergarten
Yes.
and first grade when they're having lunch. It's amazing. It's very loud. They can't open any of their own food. You have to get, adults all over helping them, and I can't open my banana, so
Exactly.
it's so much fun.
It is.
But it's been interesting, I've been there so long. I've seen so many parents and their kids when they were in kindergarten and watching them grow. And then my oldest is a freshman and my youngest is now in 5th grade. So
Wow.
I've been at that school continuously for 10 years, and it's just been fun watching a lot of these kids grow, and some of these new teachers coming and going, but a lot of the teachers are still there. So it's just an amazing community.
I see here, as you mentioned as well, you have been in you are a current FBISD DPAC. What is that?
It's
Committee
a
member.
District Planning and Advisory Council.
Oh.
It's I guess you would say it's a committee that has both teachers, SPED teachers, community members from all across the district. And they talk about a number of different things. One could be school calendar. The most recent was their District of Innovation exemption. So what that allows them to do gives them more flexibility on controlling some of their own internal processes, being that when they can start the school year, because the state says you have to start no later than this date and you can't end no later than this
Yeah.
date. But if you have this exemption, then you can kind of tailor your calendar a little
Right.
bit. So some of the other things that they were talking about bringing up is getting a little bit more deep into the code of conduct. They have a separate committee that looks at the code of conduct policies and the student conduct policies every year, and that's one of the things that they're asking that the DPAC committee gets a little bit more involved with as well, because that's actually a huge problem right now in the district, is just overall distractions in our classrooms.
How did it? When, I must say, instead of how, when did it come to your mind that, you know what, I need to become a trustee for Fort Bend ISD, and also help us understand what does trustee do?
So a trustee is basically someone who's entrusted with keeping an eye on the school district from a very governance and a high level perspective. It's they hire the superintendent, they pass a budget, they write and implement policies for a number of different things. It could be code of conduct, it could be anything legal related, it could be how we're defining our curriculum, book policies. And a trustee does not manage anything. They work with the superintendent, they can advocate it all day long, but when the superintendent is your CEO of the district, your principals are your administrators for the schools.
Right.
And a trustee doesn't go to a school and say, I need you to pass this kid, or I need you to do these things.
Right.
So that's not the role of a trustee. But at a high level, we're stewards of the taxpayer dollar. We need to make sure that the school district is spending our money accordingly. We're doing things in a very cost-effective and efficient manner. So that's one of the main functions.
It is a pretty big
They
responsibility.
also set your tax rate, your property tax rate.
Yes, and I think everyone is concerned about that,
Right,
because
right.
when you choose a district, an ISD for your children, whenever you choose to buy a house, you always look into the trio of the elementary, the middle, the high school, and what the ISD is. And I think Fort Bend ISD is a pretty good ISD.
It's a good school district. I love Fort Bend ISD. Otherwise, I wouldn't be running. If there was, it was just in dire straits, we would have pulled our kids out and we'd been
Right.
homeschooling or doing something else. But it's definitely worth getting involved and staying active and making sure. I have a vested interest. If the schools. If the schools go, then
Right.
then the community is shortly going to follow. So you definitely want to make sure that you have good schools. People, when they move into this county, and Fort Bend County in general is one of the largest growing counties still in the country. So if our schools are in bad shape, then your property values will go down, crime rates will go up. So you definitely want to make sure that we're doing what we can to prop our schools up, make our schools perform and be the best they can be, try to get as much parent involvement and engagement at the school level. And it's a community effort, and a lot of people say it takes a village. It's the same with your
Right.
school district. We're all working hard at our individual school, making sure that we're trying to prop up our kids. But at the trustee level, it's so much more than that, especially for 78,000 students, and there's
Yes.
11 high schools, and there's 53 elementaries and 15 or 16 middle schools. So,
Right.
and Fort Bend ISD is one of the largest employers in Fort Bend County, with 11,000 employees that work for the district. About 5,000 or 6,000 of them are teachers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you something, and probably will put you on spot, but
Sure.
I'm going to
Let's
ask
go.
you. You're ready for that. Fort Bend ISD, what difference would you make, and what do you see Fort Bend ISD as a trustee's eye needs right now the most that you will bring?
Well, I think we need new leadership. We need a new perspective, and the district has done well over the years. They've won in 2017 and 2018 HEB awards of excellence for the top school district and then top school board. So their trustees doing a really good job back then. But the district is currently in a state of decline. COVID, yes, a lot of people blame COVID, but we've lost students, and when you lose students,
Yes.
you lose money from the state.
True.
And with public schools, you have to pass a budget before you know how many students are going to be. So you kind of take an educated guess. So if
Yeah.
you say we're going to have 80,000 and you end up only having 78,000, then that's 2,000 students times about $6,000 that the state is not going to give you. So that's, you're already in the hole, $12 million. So people are not enrolling their kids in school, or as much as we plan. So we've lost money from that, and we have a current budget shortfall. And a lot of it also stems around a lot of the distractions. Teachers are leaving the profession in record numbers. They're overworked. They're tired. They're tired of not being supported in the classroom. And we
Right.
say that we want to support the teachers, but the policies on the books currently suggest otherwise. And the things that they're telling a lot of the schools isn't working. So, nothing against my opponent. He's served an amazing. He's had an amazing run, but it's time for some new leadership, and I am a very engaged with the community. I
Right.
know what's going on. I'm a former teacher. My wife's a teacher. I have tons of friends and former coworkers and colleagues that are teachers. So it's like, because of my level of involvement at that
Right.
level in Fieldstone and HOA, and people come to me just in general, what's going on with it, because they know I'm pretty
Right.
involved and active. And did you know that this happened? Did you know that this
Right.
happened? I said, well, I didn't know that. And you talk to the district, and there's just not a lot of movement. There's not a lot that's getting done. A lot of it just kind of goes, either unnoticed, or I have no idea this was happening. Well, you don't have that level of involvement that I do, and I know what's going on. I know some of the problems that exist, and we know how to fix it. There's several things that we could do right out of the gate just to get the problem corrected. And then it'll be, when I'm elected next year, will be a different story for everybody. And parents
I
will be
believe
much
that's-
happier, and students will feel much safer at school.
That's exactly what I wanted to hear, because when you change leadership, your expectations goes high, and deliverance of whatever you promised, it becomes the key element.
Right.
And I believe that you already know what you want to work on and how you want to go for it. So tell me, how are your nerves treating you right now? As we know, we are in early election mode right now.
Early voting right
And early voting, sorry.
Yeah.
So how's it going? I know that you have volunteers working, your family supporting you big time, but how are your nerves right now?
I'm feeling good. I've had a very pleasant, amazing experience. There's a lot of respect between my opponent and I. He's actually helped
Good.
train me in a lot of matters of the public school finance and then the budget and things like that from previous involvement on the Board Leadership Academy. This week, the last couple of weeks, has been a whirlwind. I have no idea what's going on in the rest of the world. I didn't even know that the war in Ukraine is still going on. So we're heads down. We're having fun. And at the end of the day, I wouldn't, in hindsight, there's not a whole lot I would change.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed getting out and meeting people from all across the district. And I live far, far northwest corner. So basically, if you leave my neighborhood, you're in Lamar, or if you go a little bit north, you're in Katy. So that's the edge of the district. So getting to the other parts of going to Siena and going out to Missouri City and going out to even Fresno is just an amazing journey overall. And it's like, well, whatever makes our little area in Fieldstone or that northwest corner, whatever our hot issues, it's totally different in Quail Valley. Things
Exactly,
that they say.
I can only imagine.
And so that's been very enlightening, and I've enjoyed meeting people from all over and just earning votes and winning support. It's been amazing. People putting yard signs that have never met me and advocating for me online that have never met me. I wish I could meet everybody, and hopefully we'll get around to touching and talking to everybody that's been a supporter, and I welcome that. So, nerves are good. We just want everybody to go out and vote. May elections, typically nobody goes to vote in these things. Like 12,000 people total in Fort Bend ISD voted. In 2019, 17,000 voted. We're expecting probably in that 10 to 12,000 vote range. And then May 7th is Election Day, and that's Mother's Day weekend. So people that go out of town and go visit mom and forget to vote. So definitely go vote this week.
Yes.
Yeah.
How important it is for them to vote, because I believe that if you want to see the change, you have to become one.
Sure.
And you took this, and you are now there. You're running for that position. So now it's time for people to come out and vote for you. Okay, so tell me, if somebody has a question or a suggestion or something, what is their way of reaching out to you?
You can go to the website, voterickgarcia.com, and there is a contact, and those emails come to me, and then I respond as quickly as I can. Usually it's within the same day, and then they're the best way. Facebook, it's Vote Rick Garcia, so I think it's facebook.com/group/Vote Rick Garcia. I don't tweet much or hardly. I just, but the Facebook page and the website are the two best ways. And then I have my number is actually on the Facebook page, and people you can call me as well.
I am at the voterickgarcia.com right now. There is, of course, a tab called Contact, and you go there, and there is Get in Touch. Just write your name, your email, the subject matter of the email, and your message, and then you submit it. It's very easy to get in touch. And as Rick said, that he personally attends to all these messages and responds back within a day or so. So this is your moment. And again, as we mentioned that maybe the election day is near the Mother's Day weekend and a Mother's Day celebrations, please take advantage of this early voting time, which is happening right now. And I think it's there till Friday or Thursday.
So early voting goes through next Tuesday.
Okay.
So you can vote all the way through Saturday, April 30th. The polls are closed on Sunday, and then May 2nd and May 3rd, next Monday, Tuesday, it's also open.
Great.
And then after that, it's May 7th is the big day.
All right, perfect. It's so good to know all that and keep all the track of all the dates and stuff. I would just go and do the early voting and do my, pay my.
And we will get the early
part.
voting locations. They're up. They're on our Facebook page. We're going to add it to the website as well, so that you can go and look, see where the nearest polling locations. There's not a lot. For early voting, maybe a good 15 to 16 of them, but then on election day there's a lot more open up. So.
Yeah, this is great. So again, I must say that it is a great effort, and also it's not something what I really liked about is like you have been involved for so many years. I think it was a right move at this time. Because you, in fact, know in and out of the Fort Bend ISD. You know what needs to be done. You know what has not been done, and what can improve Fort Bend ISD for the betterment of the students, for the parents, and for the whole community in general. And you have so many great ideas that you can bring on the table and actually implement them. It's not only talking about them. You have a game plan.
Yeah. And I'm not, yeah, I'm not just somebody just running for the sake of running. You know, I have very much a vested interest in my wife. And, you know, last thing we want, my kids are in schools, and with the rise in distractions and the number of incidents that are going on and substantive threats that are happening.
Yeah.
You never think that you send your kids to school and worry about them. You want them to be safe and secure in school and have a safe and secure learning environment. And there's a lot of parents are just really upset in general with how discipline is being handled. Discipline without consequences doesn't work.
True.
There's consequences in my house. There was consequences when I was growing up. And the last thing I'd ever want to do is get a call to my dad, because whatever you get at the school, you're going to get it again when you get home. And you know, we have to be a little bit more forceful with some of the consequences, and parents need to have an active role in that. So, but yeah, no, first time candidate. I do have a lot of experience, and so I'll hit the ground running for sure.
Right.
I mean, it's going to be a whirlwind when I get on, but I'm looking forward to it, and I have all the excitement and the energy in the world to get it done.
You may be the first time candidate, but the experience that
it.
you're bringing, it's a lot. Okay, so as a parent, we have a slogan. Every parent have a slogan about school. So I have a slogan that we use, that there is no such thing as skipping school. So what is your slogan? Unless you're sick or stuff, but what is your slogan that you use for schools and at your home?
It's so with us. It's at home. It's we always say it takes a village, and we
This
have a
is
lot.
good.
We
I like that.
always help each other out. My oldest does a very good job with managing his own schedule and doing his things, and I like when he gets involved and helps his younger brother. His younger brother has dyslexia. He's a very hyperactive child sometimes, so I have to lean on not just my wife but him to be mindful of the dyslexia and you know, why is he having these struggles, and why is this so much harder, and one, you know.
True.
It always takes a village, and we help each other out. And I always tell my boys, because both of them are in Taekwondo. My oldest is a black belt in Taekwondo.
Wow.
Silver medalist at national
Great.
championships last year. But I
Just throwing in there.
I always tell them, I said, you know, when you're in school, you know, you have an obligation to help others that can't help themselves.
Yes.
And it takes a village isn't just, you know, a household mindset. It's a community effort.
Great.
And that's one of the reasons why I think I am so active and involved, because I want to be a positive force for my kids to see. And you know, it's okay to grow up and maybe idolize some of your favorite sports heroes, but I think at the end of the day, you know, that's not going to get you from point A to point B. I think what's going to get you from point A to point B is doing the right thing, to helping your fellow neighbor and your family members, and just sort of sticking together and working through all the good and the bad, and helping those around you.
Absolutely. Mr. Ray Garcia, it was a pleasure having you on our show, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
I don't see any better candidate than you, and I believe that you have conviction, and I believe that you can do it, and you are ready.
I'm looking
Actually,
forward
you're
to it.
ready, and that's very important. When you know, you are focused, you know what you're going to do from day one, and that's what it is. So, people, if you're listening to me, joining us live on Facebook, Mr. Rick Garcia running for Fort Bend ISD Trustee Position 3. So please vote. It's early voting right now till April 30th, and then 2nd and 3rd
That's right.
of May, and after that, Election Day is May 7th, if I'm not mistaken,
correct.
right?
That's
so
correct.
this is what I memorized. I have a
got
good
it. You
memory.
got it.
It's going. All right. So once again, thank you so much. I'm so grateful. I'm so humbled by this, because I am very passionate about schools, and I'm very passionate about where my kids go, what they do, because almost 8 to 10 hours or more they are in that environment, and that environment makes a big difference when they come home and they learn. And learning is key, essential thing. Knowledge is important, and it just further help them to grow in becoming a better person in general. So Fort Bend ISD is actually very fortunate. I must say fortunate, Fort Bend ISD, to have you and running for a trustee position, because I would like to have a person like you in my ISD
thank you.
as well, who is well aware of the needs that an ISD needs to be fulfilled, and who has such a great, I must say, a resume or a portfolio or a background to support his agendas. And I believe those are all positive things, and I look forward to all these changes that you are going to bring as a trustee.
Thank you.
So good luck for that.
Thank you so much. Thank you all for having me.
Yes, sir. Thank you. That was Mr. Rick Garcia, all the way from Fort Bend ISD, running for trustee position 3. So go out and vote. Thank you.
Thank you.